All right, so moving on to the next segment. We're going to switch gears here from the UFC over to the sport of boxing. And in this next segment, I'll be sharing my fight prediction for this weekend's fight between Josh Taylor and Teofimo Lopez. So this is going to be, I think we have a banger incoming for this weekend in the sport of boxing. Josh Taylor will be defending his WBO championship against Teofimo Lopez Saturday night in New York at the Madison Square Garden. But I do believe that this is going to be the biggest fight that the junior welterweight division has seen thus far in the sport of boxing in the calendar year 2023. But boxing has been delivering on all cylinders this year with mega fights. We've seen Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez. We've seen Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia. We've seen Devin Haney versus Vasily Lomachenko. We're going to see Fulton versus Inoue later in the next few months. We're going to see Terrence Bud Crawford versus Earl Spence in the next few months. So boxing is just heating up. It's a great time to be a boxing fan. And this fight is going to deliver this weekend between Teofimo Lopez and Josh Taylor. I think it's going to be up there in the monumental fight category with all those fights that I just named that we've already saw this year and with the fights that we were going to see later on in this year. This fight will definitely not disappoint between these two caliber fighters this weekend. My tail of the tape heading into this fight. Josh Taylor, he's currently 29-0, has 13 knockouts to his resume, and is the former undisputed champion at the 140-pound division. Teofimo Lopez, he is 18-1. He has 13 knockouts to his resume and is the former unified champion at 135 pounds. And before I go any further about Teofimo Lopez being the unified champion at the lightweight division, there's a lot of people out there that might have a lot of questions about that, what I just said. Let me clarify that, because even ESPN Top Rank still can't get it right. Teofimo Lopez was never the undisputed champion at the lightweight division in 2020. There's a lot of people that claim he was after he beat Vasily Lomachenko. Let me clarify that. Teofimo Lopez was the unified champion at 135 pounds after he beat Vasily Lomachenko. That WBC championship was not the coveted WBC championship to make you a unified champion. As you guys know, in the sport of boxing, there could be several championships held by a sanction. And that WBC championship was not the real WBC championship. It was the franchise belt. So therefore, Teofimo Lopez was never an undisputed champion. He was never a 4-belt champion. He was a 3-belt champion, a unified champion, but was never the undisputed champion at the lightweight division. So just to clarify that before we keep on going. My storylines heading into this fight. Will Josh Taylor remain at the top of the mountain at the 140-pound division? You guys might wonder. I just said a few moments ago he was the former undisputed champion at 140 pounds, and yes, he was, and he's never been beaten. And the reason why he relinquished those championships was due to the fact that he was have it to be undisputed champion. You have to have the WBC championship, the WBO championship, the WBA championship, and the IBF champion to be all 4 of those belts to be the undisputed champion. Josh Taylor was doing that. But the reason why he does not have all 4 of those belts at this particular moment anymore is because he no longer wanted to pay the sanction fees for being a champion. And the way how the sanction fees work, if you guys don't know, the sanction fees, if I'm a WBC champion, world champion in the sport of boxing, every time I put my body through those ropes, I have to pay a sanction fee to hold that championship, to have a championship fight. I have to pay a percentage of what I'm going to make into a sanction fee to pay for my championships. When you do the math on it, I do believe, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I do believe that 12% is the percentage that you have to pay sanction fees for your championships. And I don't blame Josh Taylor for vacating all of his belts because of that reason. And that's the reason why he is not the undisputed champion right now at 140 pounds. He's never beaten for all those titles. He just relinquished them because he was paying those sanction fees. But I do believe he is the best fighter at 140 pounds, so we're going to see if he can stay at the top of the mountain. And my storyline for Teofimo Lopez. Will Teofimo Lopez knock off the best fighter at 140 pounds? But I have all the respect for the world in Teofimo Lopez. He stands on what boxing is supposed to be, fighting the best of the best. And Teofimo Lopez's resume, you cannot say he has not fought good opposition his whole entire career. He's always tried to fight the best of the best, and that's why I applaud and give Teofimo Lopez his credit. When you look at his resume, he's fought Richard Comey, he's fought Nakatani, he's fought Vasily Lomachenko. When at the time when they fought in 2020, ESPN pound for pound had him ranked as the #1 fighter in the world, and he beat that guy in 2020. So you gotta give him props for that. He also fought George Kambosos in 2021 and fought Sador Martin in his last fight at 140 pounds. So he's fought some great opposition. He's never shied away from the fact he wants to fight the best of the best, and I have always applauded Teofimo Lopez for that. And now he's fighting a former undisputed champion in Josh Taylor. So these are my game plans for both fighters heading into this fight on Saturday night. If they want to walk away out of Madison Square Garden victorious and walk away as the WBO champion in the junior welterweight division. So my game plans for the champion Josh Taylor. These are my game plans for him. He has to use the jab effectively. Use that to his advantage. Teofimo Lopez has a hard time defending himself against quick, effective jabs. I think Josh Taylor, if he could pop that jab and make that an effective weapon, it's bread and butter for him all night long. If he could pop that jab and make it effective from round 1 all the way into the end of the fight, I think that's something that could help Josh Taylor in this fight. Another thing is he has to have an effective feint. Teofimo Lopez likes to jump in for a big shot when he sees his opponent's feint. And this causes his defense to be off balance. And this is going to be a huge opportunity. This could lead to Josh Taylor actually knocking down Teofimo Lopez by having an effective feint. Making Teofimo Lopez think twice. Having Teofimo Lopez jump the gun and try to land some big combinations. Catch him off his game with an effective feint. And he's going to be off his game, off his balance defensively. So you land some good combination shots of Teofimo Lopez, potentially drop him. And game plan number 3. You got to walk down for Teofimo Lopez if you're Josh Taylor. He finds a lot of success walking down his opponents. Heading into fights, when you look at Josh Taylor's previous fights, he's always been the bigger man at 140 pounds. I think he's the bigger man size-wise when it comes to fighting Teofimo Lopez. He has to walk him down if he wants to have success in this fight. If he walks down Teofimo Lopez, he can take his time with him, time his shots perfectly, and pick the right opportunities that he wants to and be comfortable in this fight with Teofimo Lopez. These are my game plans for Teofimo Lopez if he wants to walk out successfully Saturday night. He has to be on time. He has to be on time and be an effective counter puncher. Teofimo Lopez is a great counter puncher. He's had a lot of success being a great counter puncher in his fights over his illustrious career this far. He has found a lot of success being a counter puncher in his fight. So he has to be a great counter puncher. He has to bring some things to the table when Josh Taylor comes in. He has to come in with a good 1-2 combination. He's a good counter puncher, and he sees those combinations Saturday night. Game plan number 2. He has to start off fast. He's great at starting off fast in fights. He is not a slow starter. He always puts his foot on the gas pedal from the start of fight all the way to the end of the fight. He is not a fighter that has that trouble of starting off slow. So he's gonna have to start off fast against Josh Taylor. He could fall, and if he doesn't, he could fall behind big on the scorecards against Josh Taylor. And evidently you don't want to do that against Josh Taylor, because then you're gonna have to depend on the knockout win, and that's just not gonna be good for him. He's start off fast, put your foot on the pedal from the start of the fight all the way to the end of the fight. And game plan number 3. Make sure that Josh Taylor stays in the pocket. Yes, I just said that Josh Taylor has the reach advantage. He's going to be the bigger fighter when he height and reach when it comes to him and Teofimo Lopez on Saturday night. But make Josh Taylor stand in that pocket if you're Teofimo Lopez. Josh Taylor can spend too much time in the pocket in fights for unnecessary reasons. He could get himself in trouble at times. And Teofimo Lopez is a big puncher. He's pretty strong. He packs a punch. If he can make Josh Taylor stay in the pocket for an extended period of time, he can catch him with some good combinations to the body. That could slow down a bigger man like Josh Taylor and find some openings in that pocket to potentially knock out Josh Taylor or knock down Josh Taylor. So those are my game plans for both respective fighters heading into this fight on Saturday night. With that being said, I'm going with Josh Taylor to win this fight by a split decision. I do see this fight going all 12 rounds. I do see this fight being decided by the 3 judges at the scorecards. But I think that Josh Taylor will be the more disciplined fighter than Teofimo Lopez Saturday night. And I also think that's going to be a key factor of which fighter is going to be the more disciplined fighter heading into this fight. And I do believe it's going to be Josh Taylor, who's going to be a more disciplined fighter than what Teofimo Lopez will be Saturday night. And I do believe that frustrations could boil high for Teofimo Lopez, which could lead to him making some big critical mistakes. And that could lead to Josh Taylor evidently dropping Teofimo Lopez at least once or twice, sending him to the canvas in this fight. But I do believe that Josh Taylor, this will be a competitive fight. Like I said, this is hands down the best fight at 140 pounds in the junior welterweight division in the calendar year 2023. I do believe that this will be one of the biggest fights of the year. It'll be in that conversation. But I do believe that this fight will. I do believe that Josh Taylor will pull away on the judges' scorecards late in this fight to frustrate Teofimo Lopez, to throw him off his game, to successfully retain his WBO championship. But that is my fight prediction for this weekend's fight between Josh Taylor and Teofimo Lopez.